Hey guys, it's Jarrod here from Rocket Chainsaw, and I'm with Anthony Capone.
Hey guys.
We're here to review Battlefield 3. It's been out, not Battlefield 3, sorry.
Battlefield 3 has been out for 2 years.
Yeah, so we're reviewing Battlefield 3 and all the premium packs. No, we're reviewing Battlefield 4, which has been out for probably about a month now, maybe a
Yeah.
little bit less. It's available officially now on pretty much every platform under the sun, unless you're a Nintendo fan. And
Hard luck.
yeah, and I've been playing it vigorously on PC. Anthony has been playing it on Xbox One, and we're here to give you our verdict on how good it is. Anthony, how's been your experience with the Xbox One version? Because you moved from 360 to Xbox
From
One.
360 to Xbox One, yes. The next generation version is stunning. 60 frames a second, 64 players. It's like unlike anything I've ever experienced on consoles before.
So yeah, this is really, the true Battlefield Conquest concept finally making its home on
Experience,
consoles.
yeah.
Yeah,
The immersion of having 64 players running around on a massive map, jets, helicopters, tanks rolling around, and running at a pretty smooth 60 frames a second is, yeah, absolutely jaw-dropping.
how is the performance? I mean, they say 60 frames. These games tend to dip up and down depending what's going on. Are you finding the controls and the performance with the Xbox Pad suitable?
Xbox Pad is actually quite robust and adaptive. It's pretty much a constant 60 frames a second on all the smaller game modes such as Obliteration Team Deathmatch.
Yep.
I haven't really personally seen any issues running on Conquest, but some of the performance websites have been saying that it does dip somewhat
During
on
explosions
the...
and that kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But it hasn't really affected my gameplay at all.
Yeah. It's
If
pretty
anything,
good on...
the 60 frames a second has benefited greatly.
How do you find the visuals, though?
Even though it's still 720p on
Xbox One.
900p on PlayStation 4, it still looks jaw-droppingly gorgeous
Yeah.
on Xbox One. But that's coming from someone who's played on 360 and has been playing that for the last 2 years. The upgrade is significant.
It's pretty much the same thing on PC. Actual rendering performance for me has been pretty damn good. I'm on a 770 GTX. The visual quality is... You can tell it's very heavily inspired by Battlefield 3 style, so it does feel
Yeah.
kind of similar.
But it's much more colourful. It doesn't
Yeah,
have
like
those blue
there's
tones.
there's fewer filters. The visual feedback's a lot better. The user interface is a lot cleaner, and just generally, like the new lighting engine is a lot
Yeah.
more.
The
a lot more
environments
impressive.
are a lot brighter. Yeah, and the variety of environments as well is quite stunning.
It sort of, nicely balances those kind of urban indoor environments, the city streets, and also your more outdoor areas. And they all look really good this time, instead of one of them kind of getting the shaft.
Yeah, yeah. Whether you're running Operation Locker or what's the Rogue Transmission, you're still getting
Yep.
a really high level of graphical fidelity.
Yeah. And look, DICE has brought across a lot of gameplay changes. I mean, it's still, again, like the graphics, that the game is heavily built on the Battlefield 3 core concept. But they've overhauled, the amount of loot, the amount of equipment that you can unlock. I mean, what are you using at the moment?
Well, I've been experimenting a lot with all the classes. I'm still using my favourite weapons from Battlefield 3, but just the detail they've put into weapon modifications, even being able to change the attachments on your pistol. It's just a level of depth that even Battlefield 3 didn't go into.
Yeah, I'm finding like the weapons are a little bit more, a lot stronger this time around. I feel like I'm getting kills a lot faster.
They all feel different as well. Battlefield 3, you could just stick a long barrel and a grip and a scope on any gun and you'd go fine, but here you've got to find
Yeah.
that sweet spot between which attachments work best for your playstyle, and just whacking any old one's not really going to work for you.
Yeah, and I think the way that the equipment's spread out across the classes, they've better balanced it as well. I found
Yeah.
with Battlefield 3, it was very easy to pick a kind of play style for one particular class and just stick with it, whereas now I feel each of the classes can actually have a bit more diversity and
Yeah.
a bit more balance.
And you can now run carbines on any class as well, so say you're a sniper.
Yeah, I
you can
definitely
now
like that, yeah.
have a more of a behind enemy line Spec Ops type character rather than just camping down the end of the map.
How you finding the maps?
Excellent. As I was alluding to before, Operation Locker is one of my favourites.
Yep.
Coming from someone who loved Metro, but Rogue Transmission, Parasol Storm, yeah, there's a really great variety. I do favour more the infantry type combat, and they just
Yep.
work really well. playing Conquest with 64 players and having jets, helicopters going everywhere is absolutely crazy. Can be very overpowering at times once you get into it.
Yeah. I find the map quality in general is leagues ahead of Battlefield 3. With Battlefield 3, I found myself resorting, because unlike Anthony, I'm a pretty big... I like the bigger maps with a good sense of balance. Not like ludicrously huge, but I like to have a lot of vehicles and a lot of infantry, and I like them to be balanced in such a way that there's bits and pieces of things going on everywhere, of different types of conflicts. With Battlefield 3, I found myself resorting to Operation Firestorm and Caspian Border almost all the time, as well as a couple of others. But with Battlefield 4, at least, I think the map design is a lot more consistent.
Different maps do favour different playstyles, but
Yeah,
at the same time,
Operation Locker, which is my personal least enjoyable, but at least that sort of fits a certain niche.
Yeah.
A lot of the other maps, though, do have a nice balance of vehicles, of infantry use, and have a wide terrain and play field to play on.
Like, even on a map like Rogue Transmission, you've got the areas of the map where infantry will do well, but you've also got areas where armour will absolutely destroy.
Exactly, and I really like that balance, because to me it feels like I can have a server that's on a random map or on a cycle of maps, and I'm not upset if it's not playing just the two best maps. There's actually a much better selection here that seem a lot better balanced. I really like Parcel Storm. I really like Rogue Transmission as well. I'm not too hot on Gormand Railway, but I haven't played enough of it, I don't think.
Flood Zone?
Flood Zone I really like. Flood Zone I'm actually really
I found
big on.
that become a very big sniper festival, as everyone camps on the roofs.
That has been problematic, but I do enjoy when someone gets a helicopter and like the little bird and just completely mows them down. What do you think that
it strikes that balance.
How are you finding the Levolution? Do you think it's well implemented?
It's a nice little feature, such as on Flood Zone when the whole map gets filled with water, or Parasol Storm when the storm rolls in. It's a nice little feature, and it doesn't break things, but it just adds a level of it changes the game up, so it's not just the one same map.
Yeah.
The whole time.
I'm pretty torn on it. At its best, I definitely agree with you. Like, I like it in Parasol Storm, and I like it in Flood Zone. I really like the idea that when these Levolution events happen, that it really disrupts the way that the map is laid out. Like, it kind of gives it a new angle. Like, when the storm rolls in, that's really cool. When the bottom floor floods, that's really great. Some of the maps do seem a little bit half-assed. Like the Levolution feature just kind of is there. What's the there's a dam one, not Flood Zone, but there's one where there's a dam, and the Levolution feature is that the hole in the wall.
Yeah, and just rocks start flying everywhere for a momentarily.
Half a second, and then that's it. And you'd be kind of thinking like there'd be some drastic change to the map layout.
But no, that's it.
Nothing really happens. It's pretty basic. I think it's a concept they can take further. I do feel maybe they didn't quite exploit it as well as they could have, especially the way that the Levolution events were activated.
Dangling a carrot in front of a donkey. We
an explosive
were discussing
carrot.
earlier. In Siege of Shanghai, everyone's just going to bring that building down within 5 minutes.
It was like we discussed with the beta. That tends to happen, and that does tend to happen in the main game as well. Like Flood Zone, the damn wall breaks when everybody destroys it. There's only one spot to destroy it, so it seems like maybe you could mix it up a bit and include multiple positions to be destroyed across the map that change in different ways. A bit more diversity there. But it's a good template, and I'm pretty keen to see where they take it in the future.
I like how they've got more dynamic events in the maps as well, like you can close doors.
For sure.
Like in the upcoming premium Metro, you can clap sections of the roof. It's a bit of a change, and it's nice not to just have the bland same old level design.
The maps themselves, like, not only do they have a wider play space than before, like, there's much more area to fight on, but they themselves feel a lot more dynamic and alive. Like, there's more things to destroy, there's more buttons to press, and it gives you a bit more involved in the map battles.
And it is absolutely conducive to epic large-scale warfare.
Agreed. How are you finding bugs and performance and that kind of thing?
Actually, surprisingly quite good.
You are on Xbox One, so you're
on Xbox One,
live.
I think I've probably been one of the luckiest people I've probably had in my entire experience, which is now up to 40+ hours, 2 games.
Healthy.
Kick me out midway. I've had my very, very occasional drop out, but it's usually at the end of a game once I've got all my kills and points. So very, very minimal. It's a surprisingly stable game on Xbox
It's been
One.
a smooth performance for you.
Mostly, I'd probably
Yeah.
rank it at 95%.
That's pretty good. I wish I could say the same on PC.
Yes.
Yeah, it does feel like the game's pretty much shipped unfinished. I mean, that's the nicest way to put it.
Well, essentially, you're beta tasting it now. For,
Well, yeah, I think we beta
yeah.
tested it for the console versions, and they haven't finished
Yeah.
updating it for us yet. I don't think like it's a running joke when Battlefield games launch that they always launch with bugs and problems.
Yeah.
And I know that because I've followed the series for a long time, and I'm cool with that.
Well, when you think about it, it's actually quite smart. I mean, rather than playing QA testers, that's
Yeah,
people,
like,
people
we
are buying
pay
the
for
game
it.
and doing it for them.
Yeah. In this case, though, I do think it's like it's not really excusable. I can't think how many off the top of my head how many maps are in the game, like maybe 12 or something like that. At least 4 were legitimately unplayable due to bugs.
What percentage of the time are you finding that bugs are causing it?
If I was ever Siege of Shanghai was literally unplayable, as in the game crashed every single time you tried to play it. The resort map was bugged. Gorman Railway was bugged. There was another one there that was bugged as well, like there were sound bugs and lag bugs. If you were on those maps and the bugs weren't just random, they were always there, the game was unplayable.
Yeah.
Didn't have, I suppose, a lot of kicks and crashes, not too badly, depending on the map. Parasol Storm did kick me a lot, I suppose. But yeah, I mean, I'm used to bugs, but these were so prevalent, especially on certain maps, that they were detrimental to the actual enjoyment to play the game. Like, I actually felt like, okay, this game probably needs another 4 months in the oven.
Yeah, but absolutely props to DICE for they are, I believe, doing their best to fix the game and have actually put all downloadable content on hold to get the game into a stable version.
They're getting there. Maybe we need to do a retrospective in 12 months.
And see how it goes.
When all the DLC's out and see if I can play Siege of Shanghai yet. Did you give the single player a go?
I did.
Because people buy Battlefield for single player, you know that.
Yeah, of course. I've given it a whirl. Miles ahead of the mess that was the Battlefield 3
Agreed.
campaign. I like how it tries to follow more the larger battlefields that the actual multiplayer follows.
Yep.
I like the environments, the encounters. I mean, the story and characters obviously leave a lot to be desired, but
they're
a
a bit
little,
forgettable.
Yeah, it's a fun little campaign that warms you up for the multiplayer.
Yeah. Battlefield 3 for me was like, I don't want to say I was offended by the campaign, because it's hard to be offended by a game, but like, that was just awful in every respect. I hated playing through it. This, it pretty much was what it was, just a generic military run and gun shooter, but I actually it did its job much better than Battlefield 3.
Yeah.
You did a lot more shooting and a lot less having a handheld through scripted sequences, even though it did have those. And like you said, the encounters were a bit more open, the encounter zones. You had a bit more vehicles involved, so it did feel a bit more like Battlefield. I still think, like, when you look at Conquest and stuff, there's a lot more potential for them to build a really cool single player with big maps. But this definitely is a lot better. It's a graphical showcase at the very least.
Absolutely,
yeah.
Especially on Xbox One.
Yeah, like, I mean, I've seen the screenshots. You played it, and yeah, it looks really gorgeous.
On multiple occasions that I have to pick my mouth up off the floor.
So that's a reason to play the campaign. For the pretty visuals and the three guns you can unlock at the end.
Of course, of course.
Do you have anything else you'd like to leave with a review?
I really think just that Battlefield 4 is an excellent launch title for Xbox One.
I suppose there's something to consider that it is a launch game like this.
Exactly, yeah. And I imagine over time the graphics will get even better. Maybe we'll even achieve true 1080p, but running at 60 frames a second, having 64 players, getting that true Battlefield experience and largely bug-free is, I think DICE should be commended.
Compared to other shooters on the market, I mean, now that, because Battlefield 3 was the 32 players or 24 on Xbox 360.
Yep.
Now that you've got that 64 players, 60 frames a second, Conquest with all the vehicles and maps as big as they can be, how are you finding Battlefield 4 as a shooter now that is part of the console market compared to everything else?
It's very, very difficult to play any other shooter right now. But I think I've gone through the natural transition of getting fatigued by a lot of the other shooters and just finding that Battlefield 4's level of
Yeah.
it's not set in stone, the game, ever. It just has that level of you can
It's
do
always got something
anything.
going on.
Yeah, I mean, of course, people will always want to spend 10 minutes just playing their corridor shooter.
Yeah.
And I think when Titanfall comes out next year, that'll be another slight evolution for the genre. But for now, Battlefield 4 is an amazing showcase for Xbox One.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty similar thoughts. I love the way it plays. I think Battlefield 4 is a mechanical improvement over Battlefield 3. I think, just in terms of game design, it's consistently more improved over Battlefield 3. The maps are a lot better. The weapon selection's better. I had a lot more fun playing Battlefield 4 than Battlefield 3, even though I still really enjoyed Battlefield 3.
I think everything that needed fixing from Battlefield 3, they got right.
Yeah, more or less
in
everything.
Battlefield 4.
I mean, some people aren't quite happy with the balance of the vehicles. I think they'll iron that stuff out over time. But yeah, the actual game quality in design, like to me, like they identified some of the problems with Battlefield 3 and address them.
And adding, for example, adding Levolution, adding the ability to customize your weapons to the 99th degree just gives it's justification for another game.
Yeah, I mean, end of the day, for me, what drags it down is the bugs. This is totally subjective, because for you, it's a lot smoother. On my end, the bugs just are so bad that I can't really justify the game as something I want people to go out and buy, even though I know there's an amazing game buried underneath all that shit. I just hope they iron it out quickly.
I think if we were to come back in 6 months' time,
maybe
the
we
game
should.
is functioning properly. It'll be the product that you want it to be.
Hopefully.
And it's a product that I'm playing right now.
So what do you want to give it? What is your verdict? What is the Capone verdict?
For the Xbox One version, considering that this has not been done on consoles before and what it brings to the table as a launch title and as a debut next generation title, I'm giving Battlefield 4 4.5 out of 5 for Xbox One.
Okay. I feel very similar in terms of game quality, but because of the technical issues and the bugs dragging down the experience that I don't think are excusable for a launch game, which unfortunately seem to plague PC more than the Xbox One version. Maybe I should buy the Xbox One version.
Yeah, you might actually be able to play it.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I do have to give this game a 3 out of 5, which is above average, but I mean, come back in 6-12 months and see how it's going. Until then, yeah. Any last words?
Have fun on the battlefield.
Thanks, guys. For more news, reviews, and features just like this one, check out rocketchainsaw.com.au. You can also subscribe to our Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube channels for routine updates, such as us talking crap, among other things. See ya!
Bye.